Motorcycles can be downright terrifying. Whether it's your first time riding on one or you've only seen wild videos on YouTube, it's a beautiful fear of the unknown that makes motorcycles so damn intriguing. Or maybe you've ridden two up on the back of a bike and were shocked at how torquey something with less than 1 liter of displacement can feel. But what makes them so scary? That, my sweet baby yams, is what we're going to talk about today. For the noobs in the audience, hi, how are you? Sit wherever you like. We've got snacks. Your aunt laid out a nice spread for you. Check it out. For my Krusty Cube veterans, welcome back. Glad to see you. Let's do this. Here at Shabby Dude Enterprises, we work hard to make the world of motorcycles accessible to everyone in our viewership. We research, we test ride, there's traveling, and a lot of bloopers, but it's all worth it because it opens tiny squidlet eyes to the wonders that are motorcycles. And best of all, we give away bikes here on the channel. Seriously, click that link in the description below to learn more. Rumor has it our next bike will be a KTM RC390. Stay tuned for that. It's magical, really. It's like watching a fresh, squishy baby come into the world and open their eyes for the first time. It makes your old Papa Yam tear up a little bit, if I'm being honest. Here I am all misty-eyed again. If it's your first time around these parts, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the fine things we're cooking up here at Yammie Noob. Be sure to like the video and leave a comment letting me know if you're afraid to ride and why that is, or if you're not afraid to ride and why that is. That said, it's time to open some eyes. Welcome to the world, baby squidlets. The primary reason people are scared to ride motorcycles is the crash. At some point, it happens to everyone, and there are lots of types of crashes, so it's not something you should be that scared of. Something as simple as falling over, parking, sliding on some pine straw, or hitting loose gravel could be enough to cause what some call a crash. Others may see it as just laying the old metal stallion over, taking a slide. You get it. The point is that there's always a risk of crashing regardless of what vehicle you are in or on. Whether you're walking down the street, there's always a risk that you might crash or fall. It's just a matter of terminology. Tripping, falling, crashing, they happen on your own 2 feet. It happens in cars, happens in bicycles, roller skates, skateboarding, skiing, surfing, the listing goes on. Now, in case you don't know, your old Papa Yam used to rip skateboards back in the day, and even though the margin for error on a motorcycle is much slimmer and the risk is much higher, it's like any other activity. When I skateboarded, you fall sometimes. It was just part of the game. As with all things in life, riding a motorcycle comes with an inherent set of risks. And like all other things in life, there are certain things you can do to make sure you are as safe as possible. There's practice, riding courses, protective gear, different types of bikes, etc. Just like you grow from walking to running, so too you can grow from riding in a car to riding on a bike. You're just gonna have way more fun on a bike than you would in a car. That's a fact. In fact, we actually have a video on why bikes are better than cars, so go watch that. As far as traffic accidents go, the Governor's Highway Safety Association released a report that showed a 5.6% reduction in the amount of motorcycle accidents in a 1-year time frame. That might not sound like a lot, but when you think about the number of motorcycles to cars out there on the roads, it's actually a pretty high number. So, kudos to everyone who participates in promoting motorcycle awareness, the motorcycle watch campaigns, drivers who are paying attention, and to my boys playing it safe on their 2-wheel death machines. Y'all are the real MVPs. Speaking of car and motorcycle safety, now's a good time to discuss cars seeing riders. It's true, sometimes cars don't see us. That's why it's important to have a strong defensive driving skills, know how to ride invisibly, and to wear gear that makes you more visible. You don't have to mummify yourself in reflective tape, but you should have bright gear and a strong LED headlight, especially during the day. Reflective add-ons for your gear or bike are super cheap, and you'll look way cooler in that reflective vest than you will smeared along the old 635. Now for my newbies who haven't quite become one with their trusty steeds yet, something new riders often fear is leaning too far and falling over. I get it, those first curves can be pretty scary, and don't even get me started on that tight figure 8 pattern they make you do in the driver safety course. That thing is sketchy AF, but it's all in preparation for when you're finally ready to spread your tiny baby wings and fly. There are a lot of baby references in this video. Is this baby fever? Is my biological clock ticking? Is that a thing? I gotta lay off those acai bowls. I can barely take care of myself, let alone a human infant. Moving on. The good news is that once you've put in a few hundred miles on your bike, you'll have a much better understanding of both your limits and the bike's limits. That's one of the best things you can do when you start riding. Ride. Get used to your machine, know where the friction zone is, know how responsive your brakes and throttle are, and know just how much lean you can give before ripping off one of those glorious chicken wings. The key thing to keep in mind is that any steering you do at above 5 miles per hour is done through counter steering. I've covered counter steering in a few other videos, but here's what you need to know about it and the gyroscopic forces that actually keep your bike up. When you want to counter steer, it's best to remember the mnemonic push left, push right, turn right. It's pretty counterintuitive, but here's why it works and why you don't fall over. Because motorcycles have a 2-wheeled structure, the wheels act like gyroscopes and create gyroscopic forces when you're going faster than 5 miles per hour or so. When that happens, you enter a phenomenon called precession. That's a lot of big words, so let me break it down some more. When a force is applied perpendicular to a gyroscope's axis of rotation, or your tire, the resulting motion is perpendicular to the input force. That motion is called precession, and it's why countersteering can sometimes seem counterintuitive, especially to new riders. So don't worry so much about falling over. Get comfortable riding your bike and maybe dig up a few YouTube videos on the subject. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to handle your bike. And a well-equipped rider is a safer rider, and the world can use as many of those as we at Yammie Noob can produce. A concern that's pretty closely aligned with this one is power and acceleration. Even now, it's a hot topic among new and veteran riders. Beginner bikes. How much bike is too much? Is 600 too much for a newbie? There's a lot of talk that circulates about it, but at the end of the day, what you need to know is that no matter what kind of bike you've got, you are ultimately the one in control of the throttle. Now, I'm not saying that a noob on a Turbo Busa is the best idea, but I am saying that you shouldn't necessarily be scared of a bike either. If you crack that sucker wide open in the middle of a curve, well, that's just Darwinism, isn't it? So don't do that, my dude. If you find yourself on a bike you aren't comfortable with, or you are learning the ins and outs of, don't forget that you are in control. You have 3 very powerful tools at your disposal: the brakes, the throttle, and the clutch. You don't have to use them all at once, and I recommend that you don't, but all 3 have very powerful stopping abilities that can restore your control and keep you in an area you're comfortable with. But if you do use them all at once, it's like activating cheat codes for your favorite video game, and all of a sudden you become Rossi. Be gentle on the throttle, learn the responsiveness of your brakes, and keep in mind that pulling in the clutch suspends the power to your rear wheel. All 3 are very effective tools once you learn to use them. And that brings us to the final reason people are scared to ride motorcycles. Everyone knows someone who has been hurt on one. Well, of course you do. So do I. Heck, I am a double Daytona Slayer for Rossi's sake. We also know someone who has been an fender bender in their car too, and we don't let that stop us from driving. So what's the difference? Fear of the unknown, fear of the unordinary. Cars are admittedly the norm, and it's human nature to be scared of things you don't understand. That includes things outside the norm. But if you don't try new things, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Climb aboard and straddle that iron steed. Spread your wings and experience the indescribable feeling of freedom that comes with riding a motorcycle. And speaking of knowing people, one of the best parts of riding is meeting new folks and seeing new sights. If you haven't checked it out yet, a motorcycle communicator system is, in our humble opinion, an essential part of riding. That's why we recommend Cardo's Pack Talk Bold for your riding needs. I found that not many Americans are familiar with Cardo's products, but they are the original motorcycle communicator and effectively invented the product category. The Pack Talk Bold has dynamic mesh communication, which means you set it and forget it, no Bluetooth pains. It also has class-leading audio and has recently been partnered with JBL speakers, and we'll be shipping units with those soon. I use the Cardo on my every ride, and I love listening to tunes or chatting with my friends. I just used them here on a trip in Israel as well. For a limited time, you can hit the link below, use the code Yammie for 20% off your system. That's a hell of a deal that you're not going to find anywhere else, so hit that link and check them out. But that's going to do it for today's show. If we keep going, there's no telling how much sappier this might get, but seriously, it is the most incredible feeling in the world. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. You can throw a thumbs up and comment down south to let your old Papa Yam know that you care. And if you're interested in being the first to receive the freshest Yammie news out there, go ahead and ring that notification bell. I will show up in your inbox every Monday through Friday. There is still time to get in on the chance to win our current giveaway bike, but it's not going to be forever, so stop messing around and get entered. Our first giveaway bike, the Hentai Hornet, made her way home a few days ago, and now our beautiful FCO7 is ready to embark on her own journey home. Check out the link in the description box below and find out how you could become this lady's new daddy. That sounded weirdly sexual, although I'm kind of used to the whole daddy thing by now. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. See you later. Fact: retired basketball sensation Michael Jordan makes more money from Nike endorsements each year than all of the Nike factory workers in Malaysia make combined. That's March Madness for you. Goodbye.
Yeah! You good? You good?